In the heart of Lagos Island, behind the mirrored glass of a 40-story tower, lived a man they called the Ghost of Victoria Island. Billionaire, genius, recluse. His name? Obiora Madu. A man with wealth beyond measure, but a silence that spoke of pain money could never silence. But this is not just a story of riches. It is the story of a love that broke walls, a past soaked in blood, and a grief that never healed. Amaka Eze, a fierce investigative journalist from Enugu, had one rule: don't just write the truth, chase it until it screams. Her latest assignment? A shady tech deal connected to rural land grabs in the East. Her investigations led her to a single name: Madcore Systems. On paper, the company belonged to a silent investor. In real life, that ghost had a name: Obiora. She crashed a tech summit on Lagos Island under a false name. Dressed in a simple black gown with beige blazers, clutching a fake BBC Igbo press badge, Amaka raised her hand during the Q&A. "Mr. Madu, how do you feel about building an empire on land stolen from your ancestors?" The room froze. Then Obiora, the man no one had seen in public for 3 years, looked at her and said, "Lunch, 2 p.m. My tower. You're invited." At lunch, she expected arrogance. She met emptiness. He was brilliant, cold, wounded. But when she mentioned Enugu, something flickered in his eyes, like the ghost remembered he had once been a man. Over the next few weeks, Amaka kept digging. Her calls to Enugu brought whispers of a tragedy: a compound burnt to the ground, a mother and younger brother lost. Obiora had never spoken of that night, but she discovered CCTV footage buried in police archives. The fire wasn't caused by gas. It was set. And worse, the suspects were never arrested, because one of them was now Elder Azubike, a sitting senator, once Obiora's business partner. The truth began to harden the bond between them. Obiora began letting her in, showing her his private AI lab. He gave her his late mother's necklace kept under glass, the room where no one entered except her. Love grew, not loudly, not in declarations, but in moments, her laughter echoing in his empty kitchen, his silence softening when she touched his face. Any night on the rooftop, under the stars, she asked him, "Will you ever forgive them?" He replied, "I can't, but I can outlive them." Masked men breached the compound. Military precision. Obiora fought them off using private security, but not before a bullet struck Amaka in the chest. She fell into his arms. He kept smiling, urging her to stay with him, tears rolling down his face. She was bleeding profusely. She whispered, "Don't become what they made you. Choose life." And just like that, her fire was gone. Obiora shattered. For 3 days, he locked himself in her apartment. No food, no words, only her voice notes played on loop. The police called it a robbery, but he knew who did it. Elder Azubike, the last man standing from the night his world burned. Days later, the nation woke to breaking news. Senator Azubike found dead in his mansion. Clean gunshot to the heart. No break-in. No trace. On his dining table, a single USB drive. Obiora didn't kill him. He destroyed his legacy. The media exploded. Obiora vanished again. Rumors flew. Suicide, exile, madness. But then a flower bloomed in Enugu. Months later, a state-of-the-art technology hub was opened in Amaka Eze's name. Not by government, but by the man she once confronted. Obiora, now wearing white, addressed the students. "You can chase ghosts, or you can build futures. I chose to build. We don't heal by revenge. We heal by rebuilding what they try to destroy." She showed me love. I'll show the world what it looks like in action. Obiora Madu had everything: money, power, brilliance. But even the richest man can carry a heart full of grief. His silence was not pride. It was pain masked in marble and mirrors. And then came Amaka Eze, not a woman who wanted his wealth, but one who wanted his truth. She reminded us that love isn't always loud. Sometimes, love walks into your storm and refuses to leave, even if it costs everything. Her courage teaches us that truth is not for the timid. That sometimes, to find justice, you must be willing to enter dark places, even if no one returns your call, even if your voice shakes. But the most powerful lesson? Vengeance doesn't heal. Obiora could have pulled the trigger, but instead he exposed the rot, not just to punish a man, but to prevent the cycle. Because grief handled with violence only spreads the fire, but grief handled with purpose rebuilds what was burned. In the end, the billionaire who once lived in shadows became a builder of light. In her name, he chose life, not because the pain disappeared, but because she asked him to. Because love that's real doesn't die. It transforms. Ein does not excuse destruction. Your wounds are valid, but healing begins when you stop bleeding on those who didn't cut you. Love can be a mirror and a map. The right person won't complete you, but they may awaken the pieces you buried long ago. Justice and revenge are not the same. One brings peace. The other keeps the fire alive. Grief can birth greatness, not by forgetting the past, but by using it to shape a better future. So when next you think of wealth, power, and fame, remember Obiora. Remember Amaka. Remember that behind every scar, there may be velvet, but underneath, there's always a story. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting content.